talking to the right.
And then
that.
you're like,
some deep dives.
you're talking. Maybe I should intro this.
Sorry, but this is the vibe though. Come on, Zeze.
I know. Well, hi guys, welcome back to the Zeze Millz show. I have another special guest. I just keep the special guests coming, rolling.
Come on.
We have Jordan in the house.
Hi, Zeze.
This has been a long time.
Yeah, I know. I've wanted to chat to you for a minute.
Because every time I see Jordan, Jordan's like, when are we going to do this? And sometimes people will just say that to you. And then you hit them up and you're like, hi. And then they leave you on red. Or they say, oh, I'm just going to give you my team's number. And then you hit the team up.
People been saying that to you, Zeze.
I mean, I do the same thing.
Oh, fair. It's not even another person. That's what you do.
I'm like, no, I will. But I'm the worst, though. I'm actually the worst when it comes to...
Oh, like messaging, responding.
I feel like WhatsApp feels like emails now.
Oh, WhatsApp's crazy.
I hate WhatsApp.
I actually have the best intentions, but if I miss my window, I'll actually forget the message even exists.
I know, but then I feel mad hypocritical.
Yeah, you were like, you gave me like a 3-day response, maybe.
Did I?
2 or 3.
No, that's a lie.
Is it wrong?
I feel like I messaged you.
You did message. No, you messaged me first.
Yeah, and then you responded with
something.
I think it was your people's numbers.
Oh, maybe it was faster then.
It was. I was quite fast because I can be
by your standards.
No, I can be 3 days, but I find it's so madly hypocritical because let somebody
as long as there's a response.
Not respond to me though within due amount of time.
Fuming.
I'm crashing out.
I've
learned. Oh yeah, I'm mad.
But are you crashing out just generally, or are you crashing out specifically because it's like an ego thing with that specific person? This is the peak thing we have to reckon with ourselves.
Okay, so...
Are some people more important than others?
100%. Without fail. 100%.
You're forgetting that some people ain't responding because it's not even...
But now I know why. Like, so sometimes I'll be going to post things on my Insta stories like, when people don't respond to messages, and then I remember I am said person.
You're that person.
Like, there's somebody waiting for me to reply right now. Like, my mom, somebody. And obviously my mom is hella important to me.
Yeah, of course.
But she does get left on red a lot, which is really bad. I feel bad about that.
Yeah.
Do you speak to your mom every day?
Nah.
Oh, okay.
I don't. But I have actually built a better relationship with my mum recently. Okay. I try and go out of my way to connect more to family, which is a new thing. I'm like naturally quite nomadic and we're just quite distanced. My family is just like shrapnel.
Has it always been like that?
Yeah. It's weird. I have a kind of bizarre setup. Like my dad lived with me for a bit. Like about 8 years ago, and he also plays in the Rizzle live band.
Okay.
But like even when we were living with each other, there was a lot of work to be done, and I hadn't myself got to the place where I knew what I needed to get from that. And then with my mum, but with my mum, it was predominantly me and her for most of my life, so we're super close.
Right.
But then I had to step away for a minute just to grow up, because that's the thing that happens sometimes. You don't grow up, you need to be able to just be a human in your own
Do you think
space.
men need to do that a lot more?
I think that the the mother-son relationship is something we could look further into.
100%, let's go.
Well, I think, yeah.
Because I always say, I would love a guy that has a good relationship with his mum, obviously.
Yeah.
But I don't want a quote-unquote mummy's boy, whatever that entails, or people have different definitions of it. But for me, it's, the mums that call you because they can't speak to their son, like, can you speak to him for me? Or can you tell him, like, your mum's a little bit worried to speak to you. I don't like things like that. Or
mum's worried to speak to the kid.
But not worried, but there's some men, they just don't listen to anyone. So then their mums always are kind of walking on eggshells with them as well. I had one ex and he told me that
eggshells. That's wild.
I had one ex and he told me that he used to basically just put his mum on timeout, like just not talk to her. Like she pissed him off, that was it. She wasn't getting spoken to. And on that day, I realized I have no hope in hell. Because if you can give your mum silent treatment,
is it silent? What, he wouldn't communicate that he didn't want to speak to her?
He'd just be like, she messaged me and I just don't want to talk to her no more.
See, I think actually having a boundary with your mum is really important, but you have to tell them there's a boundary there. You can't just, in my opinion,
I guess so.
That's passive aggressive to just to just ghost someone is passive aggressive. I'll say to my mum, you've pissed me off.
But it worries me then that you could not talk to your mum for like 5 days. What are you going to do with me then? That's your mum. She birthed you. And then me now, when I get on your nerves, what's
different
happening?
Relationship. Yeah, but you're not the mum.
So?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's one of the most important things to separate. Like I for example, I'm not sure how I feel even about someone being like, my mum is more important than my partner.
Oh, no way, red flag.
Yeah, it's like you're a grown adult.
100%. Anytime, like when you see on socials those that people say your child, your mum, your wife, and the wife is at the bottom all the time. It'll be like the mum, the child, the wife. And I'm like, wow, that's very scary because it should be, I reckon. I think it should be your wife, your kids, your mum.
Well, I think ultimately it should change based on the circumstance. There's going to be points in life where certain people will be of higher value to you. But I do think that the first port of call, if you want to like live along, if you want to like be down for someone, ride or die and shit, like, you want to, prioritize them first and foremost. What's your partner saying? Like,
did you have, if I'm correct, did you have a crash course for boyfriends? How to?
I did. I literally went to a relationship workshop, to learn how to be a good boyfriend.
I love this.
But it wasn't specific. This is what annoyed. I posted it and I didn't specify that it's not just boys who do the workshop. It was men and women who do the workshop.
Oh.
It wasn't like a male correction. I unfortunately played into this idea that like men need correcting, and it's not the case.
Because you are very vocal about men's mental health, men's relationship with sex.
Yes.
Which I saw a clip, when I saw you, I spoke about it, and you was talking about the relationship, how men are exposed to sex from an early age.
From when they're kids.
Huh? And that relationship, then how it goes
I got shade boroughed on that one.
Yeah, you went onto the shade borough. How did you feel about that?
I didn't look.
You was just like, no,
I didn't look. My friend who texted me, and I remember so vividly, he texted me going, "What have you done?" He didn't even watch the video.
That's the thing.
What have you done?
When you end up on shade borough, you're like, oh God, what have I done?
But someone said to me the other day that the comments were quite like. I actually, tell a lie, I clicked on it maybe like 4 days after, and I saw some kind of like balance. That's all I want is balance. People can hate, people can like. That's calm. But then recently, because of your video where you spoke out about Bonnie Blue, and the fact that she's predatory, someone then put up a status going, Jordan spoke about this similar thing, and everyone called him gay in the comments. I was like,
yeah. No, there was like, I didn't see the gay thing, but I saw that there was people weren't quite getting what you were saying and the correlation. Because I think what people always think is that when men speak about these things, you're making an excuse for men. But I never think that. I think you're opening up a conversation. And I always say that because even I had a discussion with someone, they were saying, oh yeah, but if women and like, why is everyone upset with Bonnie Blue and because men have been doing this and And I was like, yeah, but are we just going to keep going around in this cycle of, but men this, and because it's never going to get anywhere if we're always comparing our behavior to each other, and that's why it's okay for said behavior then to be
what about?
To be happening. But
I think that's what I, particularly with that clip where I was talking about I was suggesting that there was like an over sexualization of boys. Was firstly based on personal experience, which I talk about in the video. I did have some pushback saying that I was blaming mums for men becoming abusive, which isn't true. It's not specifically just mums. It's obviously dads who can engage in this behavior too. They can be. I think they can sell the dream of sexual desire to a child without any depth of context, without any idea of consequence, and if you do this happens, or you might feel like this. But my general question is, if we're going to be concerned about adult men, why are we not focusing on how we raise them before they become that way?
100%.
And I no one can tell me that a boy is born just waiting to become a rapist. Like that's insane to me. You can talk as if it's just, and this whole toxicity, and sure, I used the term toxic masculinity years ago, but I do worry sometimes it's built, everyone says this now, but that it's got another life, because I just want boys to understand themselves, not feel ashamed of themselves, and be prepared to fight against some kind of socialization. That's it, really. I like, boys are beautiful, opportunities, potential, like every girl is. I don't like this idea that just being born as a male is just a time bomb. I also don't understand how that benefits anybody.
I agree, because when I talk about things like this, they often call me like a pick me, because they'll say they're saying that I'm siding with men, but it's so true, because I think what happens if I have a son, or even just like my little cousins that are growing up in a society, like you're saying, where it's everything is you're in the wrong, or we can't have these discussions, or if you do have these discussions, like you said, then you're blaming the mom or you're blaming the woman. It's like, no, can we just talk about this? Even like I said in the video, just even the first time I really saw it was not the first time, but it was, what's that thing called? What was that? Baby reindeer.
Oh yeah.
And the reaction to that situation. And that's when I thought, rah, as a society, it's really fuck these men. Almost like it's like really like fuck you lot, because everyone was just laughing at this situation.
Crazy.
And I was like, if a man pushed a woman up against a wall down a dark canal, we wouldn't be making jokes about this at all. So why is it when it comes to men and sexual abuse we laugh about it? Because like you said, then it's just a domino effect now for when that man gets older.
It's massive. And this is the reason why I want to stand up for boys, because it's like boys are just as at risk of being abused, and most at risk, in fact, of being abused when they're boys, by men and women, by adults. So, pushing the idea to them early on that there's something that they need to be ashamed of, or, it's just no wonder why they end up getting radicalized basically online, because, the way to radicalize a boy is by saying no one cares about you. All they need is a couple of confirmations.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't care because of this, and then boom, they get radicalized. But just to be clear, in terms of the pick me thing, this is something I meant to have said that on my TikTok or some shit. But the only reason why I really started engaging with men's and boys' issues really was because I wrote this article back in the day about being a man, and it had this pickup in the Guardian that went viral and all this kind of shit. And then I've been attending this thing called the Women of the World Festival. For this would be my, I don't know, 7th year or something. So that's 7 years.
What
right?
is it? What's that?
So it's an incredible. I think everyone should go to it. It's genuinely brilliant. It's just a coming together of loads of really inspiring women, talking about their achievements and stuff they've done in the world, and it can be about race or the environment, or a book they've written or whatever, and it's not strictly women. Obviously, I'm getting invited on now almost as a token man, and I thought that was kind of funny at the beginning, because I'd go on and be like, yeah man, I definitely am a bit of a dickhead, and then we'll be like, whoa. But I liked it because regardless of my own issues, which I've obviously now worked on, I've always been interested in women anyway, because I was raised predominantly by women, and my mum's very vocal about issues in the world, and so I'm drawn to understanding more. I don't feel a separation to anybody. I don't think that a woman's achievement or a queer person's achievement is better or less or whatever. It's all So I'm fascinated, but to the same extent, we're all sat there for 7 years having this conversation about the development of men to people who are already on this. They're already on this wave. They're at Women of the World Festival. So even if the men are at Women of the World Festival, the job is already done.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I'm looking at the shifts, and all that's happened in that time is more radicalization online. So I'm there going, well, I have to switch this up a bit, because it's not working. Whatever you think is working, whatever this last wave of feminism has done online, it's not working, is it? Because there's all I can see is more separation between people, more extremity of thought, and people are existing at each fringe, and then people are clipping the fringes and putting it forward as like, this is what men think, or this is what women think. Yeah. And people are getting driven nuts, So I don't think it's really a case of pick me or some people say the opposite to me. When I talk about feminism or whatever, they'd be like, oh, you're just a liberal, I don't know what people call me, left-leaning, I don't know what it is. But in my head, genuinely, I'm like, no, I would like people to like themselves more.
Because that's basically what it is.
That's it.
That's all. That's what it is.
This is from my understanding of the work on myself, a lot of the shit we see in society is based off of emotional dysregulation, which is just being spun out basically, because we're not emotionally aware enough to regulate ourselves. And the second thing is just a lack of love.
Do you wish growing up, because I always say this, that you was kind of taught how to be
a man?
Man.
Do I think I was taught how to be a man?
Yeah. Do you think you was taught? And if you don't, do you feel like there should be things set in place, kind of like what you're saying, to teach young boys what it entails to be a man, instead of just thinking that they should figure it out as they go along? Because I think that's what kind of happens.
Yeah, look, the reason why I wrote my book and the reason why I want to be more vocal is because, for whatever reason, men don't seem to have written, they don't write much about like their emotional experiences of the world. So one thing I love about feminism is that there are so many books critiquing the world, their place in the world, women, uplifting women. Like, it's really cool. One of my favorite things about feminism is the sense of community.
Right. Yeah.
When it is centered around just lifting women rather than, when it gets a bit more extreme. And then, in the same extent, like, I think we need to have that in our male community. Obviously, all we see are these fringes where they're like, oh, women are this, women are that, or da-da-da. Nah, it's like that's an excuse. I don't see those people as men or emotionally mature.
Right.
What I think we need are just, like you say, discussing what it's like within this framework, this society. Capitalism and patriarchy and all that stuff is a lot of pressure on boys and men, and they'll often go feeling as if that no one listens to them or they're unheard. So yeah, there needs to be more stories and understanding about how it feels to exist in that space, and what needs to happen in order for people to like themselves more. This is the thing I also think in terms of gender, is that my first port of call, if I was like emperor of the world or emperor of the UK, would be to have at least a third of school being children understanding how to feel, learning how to feel. And that's not exclusive to boys or girls. The difference is, with girls, I think if a girl was like, oh, what's it like going through puberty and then becoming a woman, I could probably find them like 15 books on that, like that.
Yeah.
But with boy, I probably couldn't find a book, and if it would, it'd probably be like, is it cool? I don't know.
Don't cry.
It's not that cool. Yeah, but it's just not that cool.
You can't do this, or you can't, because it's all wrapped up again.
But it's cool to encourage girls as a woman.
And also we talk a lot more. Like we genuinely, our friends become our therapists. Do you know what I mean? We will pick up the phone and be like, I've had such a shit day today. We might even have a cry. This is how, and your friend's gonna be like, well, why don't you try this? Or why don't worry about it. It's gonna be okay. Okay, let's do this. Whereas you guys, you don't. You just go on Call of Duty and start shouting at each other.
Firstly, Zeze, you're wrong for that. People. Do you know that's therapy?
Yeah, I know, but that's what I'm saying.
Call of Duty's therapy. These men end up talking about deeper shit.
Are they? Yeah. Are you guys like, while you're talking? I feel like that might be. You're laughing because you're not talking about deep shit. Are you guys? Do you talk about deep shit? See, it's your friendship circle.
No, it's not my friendship circle. I'll tell you, it's more than my. It personally is more. Maybe not in this case, but there's always. But I will say that, look, it's obviously there is some value in being like, men do this and women do this. But honestly, the more I speak to, especially the newer generation of young people, I sound so old saying that.
Gen Z, Gen Alpha.
Oh gosh.
Like
when I chat to them, gender is actually quite a reductive way of viewing anything.
Okay.
Like the learning how to feel, you could assume, boys should learn that. Boys and girls should learn that. Because it's still, even though girls have more opportunity to be in touch with how they feel because their body is constantly working in a way that boys don't have. A girl literally develops a period and then has to just be at, hormones. I don't know why I'm saying this, obviously, the hormones are all over the place, and you're just surfing. Boys don't have that to understand that feelings come and go. But to the same extent, knowing how to relate to a person, that's not like something that girls just know inherently, and it's not something that boys know inherently.
Right.
And one thing I think is mad about the discussion nowadays too is, I don't understand the benefit for women, and I'd like to hear what you say, for there to be this undertone that women are inherently good. That blows my mind too.
I think that's because what we've been taught.
But every human being is good and bad. Like everybody.
Yeah, but I think, like you're saying, just conditioning over the years, we've always been taught that men are not that great communicators.
Yeah.
They're not good with their emotions. Yeah. And that we are more, emotionally inclined. We're more emotionally in touch with what's going on. So then we just think, that's how it is. We're better at it. But I have, like you said, I've been reading a lot of things that basically just say no. Like, everyone can be good at it. It's
yeah,
nothing.
Of course.
It's practice. Actually, I went to Paul's, Paul Brunson's book
that's my guy.
launch yesterday, and he's got this new book out, and he basically talks about that.
Yeah.
Basically, no one is a bad communicator. You learn how to communicate. You learn how to do this. It's just practice that you have to do. Speaking of books, you released your first book, Avoidance, Drugs, Heartbreak, and Dogs. Yeah. I hear it, because dogs are life. I've got a dog.
Come on.
I didn't bring him today. He's with my mum.
Yeah. What, was that the dog that was on Nella? With
yeah.
Okay, sound.
Yeah.
You got a little lap dog.
Yeah.
Cute.
What have you got, big dog?
No, I'm not dissing the lap dog. I'm just saying.
It's kind of low key, because I feel like people with big
dogs.
Does
lap dog sound like it was loaded?
Yeah, like people with bigger dogs.
I was just worried I'd sit on them.
Just like look down on the dogs and stuff.
You have to look down on them. They are tiny. They're tiny.
Yeah, but have you gone?
I've got two medium. I got medium and a kind of large dog.
Yeah, see, that's what I mean. You large, medium dog owners, you look down on us. Yeah. It's almost like we don't have a dog.
I just can't. Sometimes I look at dogs that are really small and I just think, that how are you functioning?
Dave functions very well.
Dave?
Yeah.
You're gutted for that. You're gutted for that. Human names for dogs is the one.
Human names for dogs.
That is the one. Dave is brilliant. That's like Dave. Greg.
It was either going to be Trevor or Dave.
Trevor's cold.
But Trevor. This is the thing. See, that's how I know you're a dog owner, because you cut it down to one syllable.
Yeah, you have to.
When you're shouting, Trevor, it's too much.
Yeah, Trevor's a lot.
Dave, one syllable down. Dave, come.
And he also, greatest rapper of our time.
This is one of them.
One of.
100%. Okay, back.
Sorry, the book. Yeah,
the book. Yeah. Talk to me about
the book. Right, yeah.
Talk to me about the book. This is your first book.
We're talking about the book, though.
That's because you mentioned the book a few times, so I want people to know what it's called.
Sorry, to give context. Yeah, right. So I've got this book out, Avoidance, Drugs, Heartbreak, and Dogs. And I think I wrote it because, like I mentioned before, I wrote an article for The Guardian when I was younger, while I was going through a bad breakup. And the breakup was because I cheated on my girlfriend and I told her. And then she left me.
Which I think is selfish. Not the cheating.
That I told her.
Yeah, I don't need to know.
I mean, that's the debate of the times. I actually cover this in the book.
It's for you.
Yeah.
You told her for you, not for her. Or if someone told me that they cheated on me and I had no clue and I was living blissfully.
Yeah, I could have got away with it.
Right. Why are you telling me, bro?
Because I needed to face my actions.
Yeah, so it was all about you again.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. So that's what I'm saying. No one, if you cheat on me, hopefully you won't. Not you, whoever I'm seeing at this moment in time.
You don't want to know.
I don't want to know.
The thing is, that I did that too before. I'd done that too. Like, this is why I went to a relationship workshop. I wanted to break this pattern and cycle I'd been in. And sure, I used to think like that when I was in my 20s. Yeah, man, like, you got to hold on to it. That's part of the price you pay. You got to sit with that guilt. You know what I mean? That was like the vibe, and if they find out, bro, or like, but then I was like, how am I ever going to learn to not? If I don't see visually, and listen, hands up, that's at the expense of this partner. Mm-hmm. If I don't see the consequence of my actions, what? And it was. And I swear to God, I told her, she left me. It triggered a load of shit. Like, I was rightly abandoned, but I was abandoned, which is a whole other conversation. And then my fucking whole outlook on life and love and everything just completely crumbled, and I rebuilt it. And by the way, that wasn't the end of the relationship eventually.
Okay, right.
There was like another life to that relationship, like about half a year later. But I hear it. I still hear the argument that, or the other argument is, you've done that shit, you break up and keep it moving. And I hear it.
Yeah.
And I think even she would have thought that to an extent. But that was just where I was at the moment. And there's loads of other factors. I'm an impulsive person naturally. I also really do value honesty, and it was killing me. So, but the reason I even took a couple of weeks to say it was because literally everyone else telling me not to say anything.
Yeah. I get both sides. I get it.
But you understand that it is in like the immediate terms, the idea of harboring it and that's my punishment, I understand. But you also understand what happens with truth is it completely breaks all illusions. So whoever she thought I was died.
True. Yeah, right.
And whoever I thought I was became reality. So I just had to sit in that reality. That's what I did. I broke someone's trust. and they were fucking angry about it.
So, do you think? Because I do believe, which is probably like they'll like to say, my internalized misogyny probably coming through, but I do think men can cheat and love you. It's not, for me, I don't think it's always like I think men can separate sex. Maybe I'm being very misogynistic now. They can separate sex.
Why is that misogynistic? You don't think women can?
They can, but that's what I say. There'll be women in the comments. I'll be like, well, we can do it too, but I don't. I don't think it's like the same.
Interesting.
I don't think it's a natural thing for us. I think we have to be losing something else, and then maybe not the new Gen Z gal. Them ones are on smoke now. They don't care. They're like, you ain't. I'm out. I'm doing whatever I need to do. But I do think there is a level of disassociation, or we kind of stepped back, and that is why now it's led to this. Whereas men, I just think you want to try something new. It's just like a new car drive, new interior.
As in cheating.
Yeah, it's like you just want to try the new interior inside a different car.
Well, for me personally, it was always just self-sabotage.
Okay.
Mine wasn't really. My whole thing wasn't like planned out. It wasn't like weeks of conversation and then da-da-da. It's like taking loads of drugs and then fucking up.
Right, okay.
That was it for me. And it's, you know, obviously, if my unconscious issue is I have a fear of abandonment and I've not worked on that, I literally create, what do they say? Like, what you don't heal, you reveal.
Okay, right.
So if I'm afraid that someone I love is going to leave me, but I don't know that I am, I'll end up making them leave me.
How hard was it for you when you going through therapy, like the early stages, to have all of these like realizations and be like, wow, maybe this is rooted in this, or I act like this because of this, or how was that for you?
Yeah, it was hard, but obviously ultimately really freeing.
Right.
And what spurred me on to write the book actually was a moment in therapy when I realized that for me, my destructive behavior was rooted in like an inability to be angry with someone that I loved.
Oh, okay.
Which I thought was fascinating.
Right.
And then a lot of my work with my therapist was being angry, learning how to be angry in a healthy way. And then the second I learned to be in touch with my anger, I found like the best relationship I've ever been in.
Because a lot of people would assume that being angry is a bad thing.
Yeah,
but
that's why I wanted to write it. Like I literally, you know, one of the I'm sure I was asked to kind of rewrite it so it didn't seem as like clickbaity. But you know, for me, anger was my route to love.
Right.
That was actually how I found love, was through anger. But just to be clear, people get confused, I think, between anger and rage. So rage is toxic anger. Anger that hasn't been expressed, sat on, it bursts out and it often harms other people.
Right.
Whereas what anger, my therapist is talking about, and by the way, just if anyone's interested, my therapist is an older woman, right? So it's not like I've gone in with some dude who's like, you know, she was like, one thing I hate about this country is everybody's so afraid to be angry. Anger is a core emotion. Anger is just a boundary.
Right.
It's literally just a boundary. It's literally being like, no. Or like, fuck off.
I love being angry.
Just boom. There. And it's like, and it's just laid, you know. Oh, when you said that, this is how I felt. This is what I need. Can you do that? No? Cool. And then you go, you know.
But then some people say the tone then. Because how you're saying it now doesn't seem angry. But are you saying... Because I think a lot of people associate...
Because I'm not doing it in response. So like, so for example, right, if I have a boundary...
Yeah.
Where like let me think of something I value, like let's be I'm rushing now to think something, but like I said, I already said I value truth, right? So I want to know about something at a particular time, and I'm blindsided by something. It doesn't have to just be romantic, it could be friendship,
right? Yeah.
And I'm blindsided by something a couple of weeks later, I've been like, you know what I mean? So I'll feel the anger come up because my boundary's been crossed,
right? And
then it's my responsibility to communicate it.
Okay.
So I have to. One of my friends, Donna, would say you have to yelp. You know, like if you step on a dog's paw, which you shouldn't do,
because
by accident,
they
just go, and that's it, done. But we don't yelp, so we end up being like a body of 1,000 yelps.
Oh, okay.
So you have to just go.
Right.
So straight away you go, yo, like that pissed me off. that pissed me off, man. I asked one thing that pissed me off.
Instead of sitting on it and let it simmer. Okay.
And then you learn about that relationship, because some people might be like, the fuck, man, shut up. And then you're like, oh, all right.
Right.
You know, or they're like, all right, you know what? I'm actually really sorry. Great. You just deepened our relationship.
Yeah.
But a lot of people do is they won't say anything, and then suddenly it's them ringing the other friend and going like, you never guess what thing did the other day. Passive, indirect.
Yeah.
And then you're like festering all this shit, and then what happens? It blows up. Yeah, well, last year, yeah.
It's true. I'm very much in the moment. I need to tell you how I feel in the moment. Sometimes I do it too much, because not everything. I am a strong believer though of not everything.
Everyday auntie.
Yeah, because I can be everyday auntie. Like sometimes someone will do, and I just want to be like, you know, when you did that, and I'm like, not every day complain. Yeah. And because of my job, everyone thinks I'm a complainer anyway. They're just waiting for me to say something like, oh, you always got something. I remember I was in the nail shop one time and I said something. She's like, it's not a debate today. And I was like,
no, that's rude.
So rude. And I never went back to that nail shop again.
Fuck them.
Because I was like, fuck you.
There's the boundary.
Yeah, that was
fuck
the
you,
boundary.
Your debate bullshit.
Yeah, because I was like, so, and also.
Stick on Love is Blind and shut up.
Right. Well, Love is Blind
is actually
good.
So fire. Actually, I'm watching
it
Friday.
Oh, is the new one's coming out on Friday?
Yeah, bro.
Oh, yeah.
Jeez. That's a social experiment.
All of the stuff are social experiments, but that's why I love watching these programs.
Yeah,
because for me, I see them as social experiments.
They are. Well, one thing I was going to say quickly before we move on is like what I realized. This is the thing with anger, is that every time I went on like a spiral, like a drug spiral, or like I'd go out or I'd fuck up my relationship or whatever, I realized through therapy that there was a point, and that point was always that I was angry with someone close to me. Right. And because hold on, so I'm actually gonna try and track this entirely. So the argument is, when you're a child, right, naturally you're looking to your carer as like they're like God.
Right.
They are you're a superhero to you. So if that person does something which isn't necessarily nasty, but like let's say they're too busy to pay attention to you, or you're crying and they don't notice, or the various things that a child needs. Right. You know? You don't, as a child, go, I'm angry and I'm going to be angry anyway. You know, or maybe you should actually. Maybe you should be able to do that, but your parent can't show you that, because let's say if it's like a single parent thing, maybe you don't want your mum to be upset, right? Or you don't want your dad to be upset. So you'll think, I'm not going to tell them I'm angry. I'm just going to learn to deal with it. There's a guy called Gabor Mate who would argue that that's the kind of thing that triggers ADHD. You go into your head and start imagining something to stop yourself from feeling the fact that you're angry with the person that you love.
Right.
So imagine I've had that experience as a kid, and then 10 years later, I'm like in a situation where I'm worried that if I'm angry with that person, they're going to be angry with me or disappear or go completely. So I go, right, well, I know what I can do. I'll just take it out on myself. So I'll just hurt myself, whether that's through drugs and then, ironically, they fucking leave me. The person leaves me anyway because I've created this.
Right.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Because you was worried about hurting them, but you've ultimately ended up hurting them anyway.
Anyway, through hurting myself.
Through hurting yourself.
It's ridiculous.
That's crazy.
It's crazy. And it happens to a lot of people. You know, a lot of addiction is based in anger. It's rooted in anger. Not all, but a lot of it is rooted in unresolved anger. And it's just fascinating because this is all happening on a deep level, where immediately people will be like, he's a prick, she's a prick. You know what I mean? So
is your therapy continuous, or do you kind of do it in bulks, or if you're going through something?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Right,
I'm at a thing, what's it called? Like, she's on call.
Okay.
You know, she doesn't believe in repeated therapy.
Oh, really?
No.
How come? She just thinks she should, because
it's the form of therapy I do. I always go on about it.
It's AEDP.
Yeah.
And what does that stand for?
Accelerated Experiential Dynamic Psychotherapy. Okay. Yeah, I honestly, I'll get messages by so many of the societies of that therapy at the moment, because I guess it's considered fringe, but I think now we're going to go through a wave now where talk therapy starts to be put to the side a bit. I think people are clocking on to the fact that talk therapy can be so easily led astray.
Okay.
Whereas with the beautiful thing about AEDP is that you can't avoid how you feel. So the action of like what time you turn up, how you're sitting, how quickly you're speaking, how you're breathing, all of that is an indication of how you feel. And that's the work that can be done. So you can go to AEDP therapy session and sit down and say nothing, and you'll be doing work. So
what you've learned,
can I give to people?
No, can you look at me now and just look at my body language and know? Or are you good at that now? Or have you always been good at, you know?
that's a bit a mixture of just my interest in body language anyway. But
Okay.
I can't call myself an expert.
But you've obviously learned loads of things while doing it, so you must see things that the person's picked up on you. Then you look at someone and be like, "Oh, that's what my therapist was talking about."
Maybe. I mean, there's little things like, one thing I've noticed with people, which is an interesting one, is if I was to say to somebody, you know, does it upset you when your dad doesn't text you back? Often people will yawn.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm trying not to yawn now.
Yeah, no, because I said it. That's different. But that was one thing I really didn't notice. But you did cross your arms there.
Oh.
No. But like, it's a thing that I did, and there was times when I was trying to work through stuff with my parents, and I would actually fall asleep in therapy because it's basically your body. For me, but I think for other people, that idea of that is so painful deep down, whatever's being touched at, that the body literally just goes shut down.
Right.
And a lot of men, because we get heartbroken when we're young, and haven't found a way out of that, whereas girls might be socialized out of it. We develop ways to suppress that sadness and just never go near it. I literally just cut off entirely from my body.
I always have this discussion about men and heartbreak, and I always like make fun of you lot, which I shouldn't, because it's not really nice.
What do you say? How are you making fun?
I'm always just like, oh yeah, because you got your heart broken at 10 and you're still in your 30s, and you're still telling me that's why you can't trust, because you're at 10, you got your heart broken.
You don't feel sad for that?
No, get over it.
Wow, for real.
That's
ironically quite a toxically masculine way of looking at it.
But I'm sorry, you was 15, we're now 35.
That's when the deepest cuts happen.
Yeah,
man.
but it's like now Sarah's having to pay for Jessica's heartbreak.
No one else have to pay for your.
Yeah, but that's what
pain.
happens though.
Yeah, right.
Now everyone, you're like, I can't trust women. It's like, babe, and then you'll be like, oh, so when did this happen? You're thinking my man's gonna say like, yeah, like recently, 3 years ago, you know, like seeing one girl. He's like, yeah, when I was 15, and you're like, sorry.
That's kind of wild.
Yeah, but I just think you guys should learn to get over it a little bit more quicker.
Yeah, I think being encouraged. I mean, this goes back to me if I was emperor of the world, didn't it? I said you should learn how to feel. You should learn how to process that feeling.
My friend said that to me one time. He did say that to me. He said, women, you're kind of taught, or you somehow, to work through your heartbreak. Like you will go into work the next day and your boyfriend has just locked it off with you, and you'll go into work and we won't even know that's ever happened. But for us, he was saying, once we experience it once, we're like, never again will I want to experience that heartbreak. Whereas women, you go through like thousands of mini heartbreaks, so you've become more accustomed to it.
Yeah. And also, like I say, I think there's an innate understanding based off of how the body works for women that's like inherently got pain attached to that experience.
That's very true.
Yeah, that is like, it's just, I found what I found so difficult to deal with, and I've seen this with some of my friends, is just knowing that the pain goes. So I feel like a lot of men will just cut off because they'll just cut off the supply of all emotion, because they're like, that's painful. But obviously the reward of experiencing that pain is the joy you feel when you go into a situation that can hold you. What's ironic is I found that so funny when there was this big wave recently of people who do cold plunges. It's exactly the same concept. You're putting your body through extreme stress because you're given a rush of joy afterwards. That is the whole point of why we get heartbroken, because we have like a further depth to our emotions. So now when I feel a sense of love, it's like, what the fuck? Like, how come no man has said to me that I can feel held in this way? Of this, and then I can think of a situation and feel happier. There's not this scramble, but love, there's loads of things that, I think there's actually a lot changing. I think my generation, younger boys and men, are understanding the beauty of community and unity and commitment. I do think it's changing. Obviously,
I think that as well.
Yeah,
I think it is
because it's just because we're seeing men be like, this actually feels really good.
Because basically, going back to Paul, he was saying, our mate Paul, he was saying
I wish he was my mate.
He was saying that they did some studies and they asked Gen Z what was the most important factor when looking for a partner now. And it wasn't money, it was actually them being them authentic self.
Yeah,
that's what they want now. That's the number one thing they look for.
Facts.
In them just being able to be free and not having to.
But the only reason why we're surprised by that is because, like I say, the internet has been incredibly well tailored to show people the worst aspects of the people that they don't like.
Because to be fair, the first thing I said was money. Because that's what, like you're saying, that's what we're fed by Gen Z. That's all they care about is like, how much are you going to pay for this and how much you're going to
I think Gen Z boys care. I think Gen Z, and ironically,
about
they're
money
actually earning less. No, I think there's like an acute awareness in the last decade that life's getting harder.
Oh yeah.
Like right now, life is the hardest it's ever been. Like I get so frustrated hearing people talk on the news about young boys these days and knife crime and da. And I'm like, okay, well, firstly, in the last decade, you've shut like thousands of youth centers. I mean, do the math there.
Yeah.
And then secondly, what goals? What aspirations? Like, oh, what, you go and work a job for 15 years just to be able to get some kind of deposit? Like, you're mad. Yeah. You're asking a boy why he's going to earn 20 grand a day working on the road.
It's like, and then there's, and like you said, and then the social media aspects of it as well.
Yeah, glorifies it.
As
well. This is what I mean about understanding the shifts in values. I know loads of people that will come back from having earned money and say, listen, there's not really much there. Obviously, everybody needs to step out of survival mode. That's the issue. Most people are in survival mode. So they can't hear anyone talking about there being a disadvantage to money because it's like, I don't care. Give me the disadvantage.
Right.
That's better than not being able to turn my heating on.
100%.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So I get that. But the reality is, you know, I've had the privilege of meeting people from all walks of life. And I promise, man, like you know, I hate them to, you know, give them more publicity, but obviously Andrew Tate's been a big part of the last 5 or so years. And I know he's unhappy.
Yeah.
And I know that's because I feel I'm a mature man. I've grown to a point where I'm not going to listen to a man like that. And I need people to understand that, you know, be somebody who's consistently pushing forward this narrative of like, I'm rich and I fucking love it and everyone who's rich loves it. It's like, yeah, well then why are you streaming every day of your fucking life?
Right, like do something else.
Like, bro, do you know what I'd do with 200 million? You wouldn't see me.
Yeah.
You wouldn't see, you think I'd be on fucking social media?
Yeah.
200 mil. Bro, I'll be off the grid, bro. I'll be in Costa Rica. Opening a fucking holistic, you know, center for male development. I wouldn't be scamming other men to try and maintain my car addiction.
And that's what it is. It is actually scamming other men, like vulnerable, like literally, and that's what it is.
But anyway, I don't even want to talk about it too much. But you get my
No,
point.
I get what you're saying. Music.
Rizzle Kicks. Yeah, Rizzle Kicks. Yeah,
they're back. You're back.
Yeah.
How you got album? Is it album, EP?
Album's out. Yeah, it will be by the time this is out.
It will be out. Came out on the 14th.
Valentine's Day.
Valentine's is coming.
Yeah.
Eek. Yeah. It says and you've named it competition.
What are you saying for Valentine's Day?
It's looking hopeful.
Okay.
It's looking hopeful.
It's looking hopeful. So what is that? Like do you have like a did you just send like a what you up to like 7
No, there's someone there.
Oh, you have a consistent.
I've got consistent. Okay, I like. Wait, do I want to say this?
No. Okay.
No, okay, no. I'm just thinking, you know, we'll do a mess and yeah.
Are you impressed? This is what I mean about this is the stuttering. Hey, I don't need to have a therapy degree to know what's going through Zeze's mind right now.
Because I'm like, do I want? Because us ladies know the moment you speak about it goes to shit. Do you know what I mean? And I'm very pessimistic about relationships.
I don't know anything about your dating life.
And that's it. I'm glad you said that. Everyone, listen to what Jordan said, okay? No one knows about my dating life because everyone thinks, I think this is what also deters men. They're always like, oh, I'm going to be a talking point. And it's like, no one ever knows what I'm doing, who I'm underneath, on top of.
It's a risk with you though.
What? How?
Because imagine if someone pissed you off.
Jordan.
Straight on the podcast.
Can I just... But how many times have I been pissed off?
I don't know.
That's what I'm...
Facts.
Facts. This is what I'm saying.
Hey, have you been pissed off by anyone with a blue tick though? Let me know.
Bare people.
Bear. Okay, I need to know.
Not bear. That sounds like I've been doing a madness. But like, yeah, what I'm trying.
I hear what you're saying.
That's what I'm saying.
You keep a secret. And you complain, but vaguely. So I could be talking about something, but no one really. I would never mention names. Ever.
You'd never know what the person does. It's very just like my business. I think I've done a great job of.
I think you have.
Acting like you're in my life. So people think they know what's happening in my life, but they actually don't.
Well done.
Because I've more times always got someone in my bed. Do you know what I mean?
Come on.
Having a good time.
Come on.
I keep that shit.
All right, so you're saying that on Valentine's, so like there's a consistent, but you're not sure whether or not there's going to be...
No, we said we're going to do something.
But there's no solid plan.
No, there is.
Oh, there's the plan.
I'm pessimistic. I don't know if you can understand.
About what? That the plan's going to happen?
They might just wake up tomorrow morning and decide they don't want to talk to you no more.
That's not true, Zeze.
It's not true. I've had that. I was supposed to go...
Ghosted with no warning?
Well, there's...
Is this mad for me to even question? Is that like a normal thing?
Yeah, this happens all the... It happens to women all the time. But there was this one guy I was talking to.
And men? Women and men? Women ghost? No? I think you ghost.
We do, but you would know from the beginning that we're not interested. Whereas men are different. Men will give you the energy, then ghost you. You kind of, with women, we're out the gate, we're like, we're not really feeling him. So the responses are a bit, because we kind of know. It's like, nah. So you would feel it in the energy. You'd feel the responses are a bit sparse. It wouldn't go from 100 to 0. See, men, you go from 100 to 0. You'll be waking up. You could, and this is my motto in life when it comes to dating.
Yeah.
Everything means nothing until it does.
And is the does boyfriend?
Boyfriend, marriage, wife, fiance. So it's like, okay, he introduced to his mum, great babe, but it means absolutely nothing until it means something.
That's a tough place to be in, you know. I'm not sure I can get down with that. No,
because it preserves your heart.
Yeah, but I think heart preservation comes at the expense of like opportunity. Think how many people do you reckon that preservation will turn people away before they have an opportunity to show themselves?
Probably, but then they're not for me.
But because you have to fight through a fucking wall.
Not a fight. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm aware of it.
Right.
So even like this new thing, he might say something and then I will say something like, oh, because if we're still talking in 2 weeks' time, maybe we can do this. And he'll be like, what? Yeah. And I'll be like, well, yeah, because we don't know if we're going to be talking next week.
You're protecting yourself.
100%.
You know what's crazy is, I've said this, I'm going to keep saying it because it's so true, that I actually think for men and women, the bravest thing you can do ever is to have your heart broken and then open it again.
Yeah.
There's nothing harder.
Yeah, we do. Well,
there's actually nothing harder.
This is what we were just talking about just a minute ago, about how men and women differentiate, because I've had my heart broken bare times.
Yeah, but look what it's done.
Yeah, but at least I'm still out on the field.
True, you're out on the field, but
because I could not.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but and then as time grows,
then you start to.
I start to. Yeah. But I am fully aware. I'll tell you something though. I am fully aware of it. I said this to someone the other day. It's hard not to, as a woman that's dated and had not the best experiences dating, not to think the worst, and then also not to bring that energy into new situations. Because I do feel it's unfair to the person, especially if they're not doing anything wrong or and they're acting right. Then to get that constant like negative energy must be quite for them.
Also, I worry that it leans into what I was saying before. If that's the fear, if you're not dealing with the fact that's your fear, you'll end up creating a situation you're scared of.
I do all the time.
That's my life. Anyway.
No, I do. I'm really trying though.
It's hard. Listen, by the way, this is fucking hard what I'm talking about. I'm not joking when I say that.
No, it's
the hardest thing in the world.
It's hard. And
because
I'm trying,
it's scary.
Very scary. And I'm trying to be positive. So what I'm saying is, we are supposed to have plans.
Yeah, cool. But you're not sure. Because he could just get up and go to Japan or something.
Yeah, he could decide on Thursday morning that he doesn't want anything to do with me tomorrow. That's trauma, isn't it, Jordan?
Yeah, it is. I was trying not to say anything else after that,
trauma.
But a little bit, yeah.
I know that. I'm working on it.
I think what you are entitled to do, and obviously not necessarily with the situation.
Go on, tell me.
But if I was in your position, I would say that.
What, tell him that I'm scared?
Yeah, I would say that. I hear it. This is just my opinion. Just my opinion. I'd say that vulnerability is obviously it's a vulnerable place to be, and I would have. This is what I changed in my life anyway, and I managed to create a pretty great situation. So I'd say to myself, what do I need? At whatever stage, what do I need to feel love or feel safe? And I would ask them for it. And if they didn't do it,
I think that I agree, but I do think that I could be a bit too needy.
What is too needy?
No, because in my world, you wouldn't have any friends. You'd just be underneath my skin. You would just be around me every God-given minute of the day.
You wouldn't have any friends.
I mean, I said this to my friend the other day, and I said, I know it's really toxic, I understand. I'm very aware that it's not
the
healthy.
friends thing's you need to pull back
friends,
on that.
But I prefer if you didn't have any friends of the opposite sex. I would really prefer that.
Zeze. Your brethren are so many men.
I know, it's hypocritical. But
I hate that.
No, but can I just say,
hate that for you.
No, but Jordan, what I'm saying is, one thing about me, I'm a self-aware babe. Like, I know that what I just said is toxic. Mad toxic.
Yeah, but you don't care.
No, I care because I'm trying to be more grown up about it.
Sure.
Which is like, okay, ideally, I would just love if you didn't have any female friends. That would be great for me. But that's not realistic. So I'm learning just to cope with having with the fact that
So you want a prisoner?
That would be great.
You want a prisoner.
But I know that's not healthy, so I'm aware of it.
But when you say that level of needy, like, you don't think that's gonna grow, that's not gonna, like, won't that get boring? To be around somebody the whole time, that's really the plan.
I know, I probably...
To be there every day. That's what you're afraid of being. Because I feel like if you were to engage with that part of you, you'd quickly learn that you don't want that. Have you ever had that? Someone there all the time?
Yeah and no. But obviously when I go to work, I'm not there. Not all the time, but...
In that, they're just there, on call, boom. Yeah. You've had that, and how did it feel?
It gets overbearing.
Right.
And I probably get overbearing for them, obviously. So that, but this is the thing.
But it calms down, you know.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This is the thing. Like I said, I'm a self-aware babe. I know what I'm saying right now actually does not make healthy, logical sense.
Yeah, but you're human, that's fine.
But this is probably my attachment style.
Yeah, big time.
And I probably am, my cousin is convinced that, and she's right, that I have abandonment issues.
Sure. I mean, like, I'd say 70 to 80%.
Yeah, so I'm always like scared that someone's going to leave.
Did you have one parent that was quite loving?
My mum.
Yeah, so you're an anxious attachment.
100%.
Yeah.
My mum.
You know what it feels like to feel love, but you know what it feels like to
lose my God. My mum, it was like, I would cry when my mum went out.
Yeah.
So if my mum went out raving, when she used to go out partying back in the day, I would cry myself to sleep and I would not go to sleep until my mum came home. Bearing in mind, I would be in the house with my gran, who I adored, and like my granddad. So it wasn't like I was like left with some people that, you know, it was I lived with my gran. I grew up living with my gran. Yeah, but I was always convinced something was going to happen to her because my dad wasn't around. So I was always convinced that she was going as well. So even like one time I thought she had died and I was outside of her house. It's not even a funny story. It's a funny story.
How old are you in this story?
How old was I?
Yeah.
I was 33. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you just felt this recently?
Hello, I was out. I couldn't get hold of my mum. One morning, I couldn't get hold of her. I had this vivid dream that my gran came to me in this dream, but she was like with my mum. So I've woken up out of this dream.
Like, fuck that.
I was like, fuck.
Because Nana's on the other side.
Right.
Fuck.
I was like, fuck.
That would sketch me out.
Right. I was like, something's happening. And my mum literally lives around the corner to me, 5 minutes, right? And I've got one cousin, she's very spiritual. So I called her.
Yeah, I'd be like, what the fuck does this mean?
What the fuck does this mean? I said, cuz something. She said, if you feel something's happened, go to your mum's.
Yeah, for real.
So I've gone there.
Yeah, but I'll back that.
I've gone there now and I've knocked on the door. I've got keys, by the way. I've knocked on the door, but I'm convinced that she's locked it from inside. It's double locked inside. Wow. So I've knocked on the door and no one's answering the door. I'm like, fuck. That's it. I knew it. My gran came to me in my dream to tell me
that your mum's
that
dead.
She's gone to the other side and she came to collect her. Like, really I knew this was happening. I knew it. So I've woken up and I'm in the middle of I'm knocking on my mum's door. No one's answering the door, but my dog's inside. And I'm like, even the dog's there. So what's happening? Like, Dave's there. Like, she would have come down the stairs by now.
She got the Apple fucking Pros on.
I was there through the mum shouting through the letterbox. I went into the middle of my mum's road. I was like, Mum! Screaming. I called one of my managers. I knew it. I fucking knew it. She's gone. I knew it. I was going crazy.
Oh, you had a full trauma response.
Trauma response, yeah. I called my cousin that I called. My cousin's like, oh, this is very unusual for your mum. She's like,
God, making it worse.
She's like, this is very unusual. She's like,
Zeze, what happened?
You've got to call the police. So I've called the police. now.
Has she told us already on a podcast?
No.
Is this exclusive story?
Yeah. I've called the police now.
It's easy.
And I'm like, what the hell? My cousin's like, have you tried to go inside the house? I'm like, no, because the door's locked from inside. She's like, try and go in the house. So I'm like, okay, but I know the door's not going to open. The door opens. I'm like, so
you're panicked. You're panicked.
I'm panicking. Anyway, cut a long story short, gone upstairs. She's not in the house. I'm like, where the fuck is my mum? So I'm like, obviously she's alive because she's clearly not here. My cousin's like, is her car outside? I'm like, no, the car's not here. These time the police have come now, knocked on the door. Hi, we got a call from your cousin, your mum. Do you know where she could have been? I bear in mind, I've called my mum bare times now. Anyway, this is like 5 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning.
This is 5 in the morning.
Fast forward a couple hours, my mum calls me. She's like fucking swimming. She goes swimming at 6 o'clock in the morning, doesn't she? And I totally forgot that she had gone swimming. I called my cousin, my other cousin. She said, yeah, you got to go counselling. You've got mad trauma. That's crazy.
Yeah.
And I was like in tears. I was convinced.
Yeah, no, but listen, I actually kind of get
like,
it.
That was it. My mum had finished. It was done. That was it in my head.
I kind of get it. And I think the dream scenario for someone in your position, because I feel like I'm actually more of an avoidant attachment. So how I dealt with abandonment is just everything at arm's length, rather than what it feels like to be loved truly by a parent. So you know what you could lose. Not to say my mum and dad weren't loving, but maybe a little more emotionally distant. So the mad thing is, what I'd have to do in your position is like find a way of not putting all the power with the other person.
Yeah.
That's the thing, is it's like if we believe that person's opinion or actions are a direct reflection of us, then obviously we're going to make sure that we don't give them that power to do. So it's like if I say, do you want to do this on Friday, and you don't reply, like I'm actually going to be upset because I've decided your reply means something.
Yeah.
But what the dream scenario is supposed to be in a place where I'm like, I like myself, I enjoy myself, and I know this is what I need from a relationship. So I'm going to ask this person. If they're not responding, I'm going to say they need to respond. And if they don't respond, then they're done.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because you know what you need.
And I am coming across situations that are a lot more healthier than I have ever been in before. Amazing. Because I am self-aware as well. Because sometimes I will look at myself and be like, okay, that's a bit much. Like, chill out. It's been 10 minutes. Like, why are you freaking out? Like, what is going on
You're
here?
A dreamer.
Like, I'm literally just like, everyone chill out. Like, in my head, I'm like,
yeah.
And I've learned to be like, do you know what? If he doesn't call back today, there's tomorrow. Like he might, and if he doesn't call back tomorrow, then we just turn up at his house. That's what we do. I'm joking.
Listen, fair.
No, but I'm learning. Like, I'm definitely learning.
The thing is that it's funny because in these analogies, I do think we're stuck in the UK especially, or like this part of the world, where so many of us are stuck in this cycle of avoidance where we don't know how to. It's what I mean about fucking teaching. This relationship workshop needs to be taught because the idea of somebody not calling you back that you're interested in, it's okay for you to want the person to call you back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When people are like, oh, I'm being silly, I'll just wait a week.
But not to the point where it, like you said, shifts your day. Like I'm learning to accept the feeling of, I feel annoyed that this person hasn't called me back. That's okay to feel annoyed, but don't let it now dictate your whole day and your mood. Two things can be true.
I think again, this is all dream scenario shit because everyone's dealing with shit. Like men and women are dealing with like pain from their fucking childhoods, and that's what it is. And we live in a world, by the way, where it's set up to not encourage any of these feelings. You can be a multimillionaire and be emotionally devoid. In fact, you have more chance of being a multimillionaire if you're emotionally devoid,
right?
Because it's not based off of being a good person. It's based off of like spending hours looking at screens and shit, or I don't know what the fuck. But I've gone off my point there. No, I was saying that us just asking, like at the beginning of all relationships, all we're doing is building trust. And both people are scared of the trust being broken so early. But I'm just like, if everyone was open about what they need in those initial stages, they'll learn that. This is what I've learned. I didn't know this before my current relationship. It gets easier. If you build the trust in the beginning, if you go the whole way, all that happens is it starts to get more relaxing. If you're a person who needs their space, then you're going to have to encourage that person to be cool with that. You can't just expect someone you just met to be like, oh, I'll just give this person loads of space. Nah, because maybe they got other shit. So this is what I'd like to do today. I hope you're okay with that. I won't be able to speak to you tomorrow because of this.
Yeah, we just need open
Just
communication. No, that's what I'm saying. I'm so, and also I don't have time to waste. I'm getting a little bit on now. So it's like, why am I going to figure out if this is going to work 4 months in because I've done this whole like, let me not say anything now.
Yeah, no, I don't believe in that.
I don't believe in that. I literally, like what you're saying, I say, this is what I like.
Yeah.
Like I like when this, or I prefer it if you do this. And also give people grace as well, because you're learning each other.
You talk about that a lot. I like that, the grace thing.
Yeah, because sometimes, especially women, I think we're a bit harsh on the mandem these days. You know, it's like, oh, he should just know what I like. It's like,
no.
Maybe his girlfriend before didn't like flowers.
He should just know is
honestly, should just know it's one of the craziest things ever.
And vice versa.
So,
tell someone what you need.
100%.
I'm not a mind reader. I'm not freaking Darren Brown.
I totally agree with that. I'm under the...
You can learn again.
100%.
Over time, you
learn.
can build an understanding of a person, and you can do a cute surprise. Now, I'm talking 2-3 years in.
Yeah.
Not 3 months.
Yeah.
Oh, why didn't you know I wanted to? Because you didn't say anything.
But, you should just know. And it's like, no, babe, because there's so, especially now, like we're saying with feminism, and some women don't even want some of the stuff that...
masculism.
Yeah. What's this one?
I don't know. I just said it.
Oh,
it's opposite of feminism, I guess.
But a lot of people, some women don't want flowers nowadays. They don't want nice texts, or they
also,
don't.
Men want flowers.
Do men want flowers?
Yeah.
Should I get my little ting flowers?
100%.
Really?
Do you like flowers?
He's never had them.
No one's ever given you flowers.
A lot of men have never had flowers.
Isn't that wild, though?
That is kind of wild.
I think flowers are great. I mean, when I was younger, I was confused by the fact they died so quickly.
Yeah.
But the action of being given the flowers is sweet. I actually send flowers to my guy mates. So, I used to do that.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, I found a thing where you can just like put their address in and just send it through the letterbox. It's sick.
Oh.
So I'd be like, yo, what's your address?
And then you just send them the flowers.
Just send them flowers, yeah.
But I just wanted to, because somehow, I don't know if you did that on purpose. I started talking about
Rizzle avoided Rizzle kicks, yeah.
You did that on purpose.
No.
I just want to talk about the album.
Yeah, come on. Oh, I want to interview our Big Brother as well. Anyway.
You can ask me some Big Brother questions.
Yeah, Rizzle Kicks is back.
New album.
Competition is for losers. We're older now. I think we're better musicians. Whether or not people will listen to the album is another question.
Are you worried about that, or was it
I'm
just
not worried.
You don't care?
I wouldn't say I don't care. I have it. I hold it at arm's length just because, obviously, our experience of the industry was so extreme, and I was so young, 19, 20. Like I even the other day, yesterday or 2 days ago, I saw a metric that when Rizzle Kicks was happening as a kid, I couldn't process any of it.
Yeah.
And actually, when I was going through my therapy journey, 26, 27, a lot of memories came back to me that I just blanked out. I'd forgotten that I'd performed at like Hammersmith Apollo. I literally texted Harley once, being like, I can't believe we never played here. It was like, we literally did play that. We played Hammersmith. I couldn't remember it.
Wow.
And then there's a plaque in me and Jade's house, and it's like her first #1. And in the charts we're still in the charts. We've been there the year before. Mama Do the Hump is in the charts at like 56 or something. And I looked and it said we were been in the charts for 36 weeks.
That's mad.
And I was literally like, 36 weeks is actually insane.
Insane.
That's like 9 months or something.
That's
I can't do
like
the maths.
over half the year, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, rah, but I didn't know at the time. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So we have this kind of, and I never ever would have thought in 10 years people would even care about us putting out another record. But all the gigs are sold really well. And we just want people to know that, yeah, look, for real, we're going to bring back those vibes. And we want people to enjoy those moments they had with us back then. Like, we're not like snobby about that. I fucking love trumpets. I love Mama. I love all those songs. But the music we make now is our best ever, in my opinion. I think I'm better at rapping. I think I was quite chaotic, a bit of an erratic rapper back in the day. But Harley's an incredible musician. And so, yeah, the ideal situation is that people do listen to the record, and I think they'll be pleasantly... Well, if they weren't already fans.
Who's your inspiration, like, musically? Who do you listen to? Who do you pump?
I feel like this record is more... Like, the first time we came about, I remember distinctly me and Harley listened to a rap crew called Jurassic 5. Okay. And they have this, like, breakbeat, backpack, hip-hop vibe. And me and Harley were like, yeah. Like, our interests met. That's dope. Okay. We weren't aware that being a double act was unique at that time. We were just like, that's cool, let's do that. And then this time round, I felt we merged over Anderson .Paak. So we had listened to some Anderson .Paak shit, and we were like, this is fucking cool. Yeah, that is... Do
you know what? Now you said that, that would seem like the natural progression.
Yeah.
If that makes all the sound.
Well, I also feel like in our lane that I feel we created, and honestly, not even in like a flexy way. I don't really think anybody's been in that.
Talk your shit, honey. No, talk it.
Nah, but like I see.
No, sometimes no, don't say that. Shall I tell you why? Because what happens is people that have achieved so much back in like previously, I don't know what it is. It's like you like to play down.
That's just the way I was raised.
I don't know if it's the British thing as well. Maybe. I think over here we're very like, oh no, let's not too. But sometimes you got to let motherfuckers know. Like we've been doing this. We made hits. We did the damn shit. You got to let motherfuckers know.
I know.
Talk it, and don't do no caveat thing underneath it. Like, I'm just.
You know what's mad about you doing this is one of the most vivid memories of my entire music career. I'm not sure if I probably have told this story, but I actually kind of fucked up a session with Pharell.
Oh my gosh.
Because of my mentality.
Really?
It wasn't fuck up in the sense of he said anything explicit. But what you're talking about, in America, that's just the standard.
That's
right?
100%.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So I remember we got booked to do sessions with Pharrell. This was like, so I was in the studio. Me and Holly were in the studio and he recorded Happy.
Oh, wow.
So we came into the studio and he's like, okay, guys, just give me a second. He's like, clap along if you feel. And we're just like, And then I remember we sat down, Oh, mate. And obviously, it's fucking Pharrell. Obviously, it's before the Pharrell Renaissance. It was it would have been the best possible time for us to. Anyway, I ended up not putting a song on the album. That's a whole other story. That's just me being. I was taking cocaine at that point. But I was all thinking all types of shit. I was very sure of my vision and I just didn't think it would work. But anyway, we're in these sessions before, but it's still Pharrell, it's still the clips, it's still not the clips, it's still the Neptunes.
Right.
And he's one of my heroes. So anyway, we're in the session, he turns around, he's like, yo man, I heard about you cats, like you got that old school hip hop feel, man, like you got that throwback golden age vibe, man, like I'm feeling that. And I literally went, yeah, we're all right. Zeze. When I said, yeah, we're right, I swear, he looked at me like he looked at he looked at me like, the fuck are you? You're gonna fly to Miami
to be like
to tell me that you're all right.
Yeah.
But I look, and I don't think I've ever recovered from that. In the session, I don't think our relationship ever.
Right.
And at the time, I remember he was in sessions with Tiny, and I remember him and Tiny were back and forth on Twitter, and I remember saying to Harley, like, I think I fucked up like a friendship with Pharrell. Because he's there.
What have you ever crossed paths again?
No.
So
we did almost release the song. To be fair, we almost released the song. It almost got put on like one of the Fast and Furiouses. But I was so adamant that we were on a different wave. It's like a whole other story. And then a couple of the other demos we did, one ended up on like a Snoop Dogg song, and then the other one I heard. Anyway, but he's so fucking cool. He's so talented. And when I clocked it, the song's with Bia. Was on the song.
Oh, okay.
So back then she was called Bianca Trill.
Oh, really?
yeah. So we were in the studio.
She's a vibe, Bia.
Bruv, we're in the studio and we do this song, and then Pharrell's like, "Yo, do you mind if my girl Bianca jumps on this shit?" And I was like, "Yeah, fine." This is when I clocked that I'd fucked it. Right? Not obviously the song was cold, but that mentality was. I turned to Bianca, and I went, hey, are you all right doing a verse? What do you mean all right doing a verse? Take the mic off. She walked in, was like, you fucking dare ask me if I can do this feature.
Yeah,
she was like, you dare question. And she went in, she duppied a 16.
Yeah, it's
dropped Rizzle kicks, everything, did it double time. UK cats, Bianca trilling it, Rizzle kicks. It was, bruh. I mean, Harley sat there going, we got this, like the vibe.
Yeah, you got to feel yourself
and
there.
Some guy comes in the session as well with a laptop and he goes, yo, P, I got the dopest rapper in the South. Dopest rapper I've ever fucking heard in the South. You got to hear this shit. This shit is crazy. And I look at Harley like, right, that's what we should have done. We should have come in and gone, I'm the best motherfucker. We're the freshest fucking guys in the UK. There's no one doing shit like us in the UK.
Literally.
And he would have been like, I know that's right.
Somebody told me that, Somebody told me, he's a rapper, he's up there now. Or he's always been up there. He said that's what you got to do. He said you got to go to America, you got to go across seas.
Tell them you're the best thing ever.
Tell them they're your best thing.
It's just not my vibe.
And then everyone here then is like, oh, look what's happening across the pond. Yeah.
That was
and
the
then
vibe
you got to come back here,
and then
them over there are like, they're over there, and he said that's how you play the game.
Listen, the maddest thing is, if we had actually bagged that song at that time and then put it out, that would have been unbelievable timing because that was then Pharrell. You see when Pharrell, he came out, he did Happy, and he did I'm up all night to the sun, Get Lucky. And then he's got cuts on All Right, Pharrell, then he's, skipped the numbers. Like, it was, the whole wave happened after that. So if we'd got that song, it would have been great. But the way I look at it, and people might think I'm nuts, but if we had another wave, then I think it would have killed me.
Really?
Yeah, I do. I was not in a good place. I'm so sensitive. I'm such a sensitive person, and I was already fighting shit. I was already, my whole life has been a fight. My teens was a fight. Like, even when I started doing the rapping with Rizzle kicks and whatever else, like, because it was so different to the other vibe people were on. I used to get rinsed about the raps I was doing when I was in school and shit, in college.
Yeah, because it wasn't.
They were like, imagine, you're soft, you're pussy, da 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 da. And then I did this rap battle, shut a few people up with that. And then, but like, I was always just fighting,
Yeah.
And then I get into pop, and then it's working, but then and then people were backing it, and then I'm fighting people, and then like, this is obviously not literal.
No, I get what you mean.
Although we were actually.
Did you feel with the pop? And then, like, the black community.
Well, you tell me.
Well, yeah, there's always that thing of, like, because it's so interesting, because I had this same conversation with Leanne, actually, because, she, Little Mix, and then she does R&B now. But then we had that conversation about her being in Little Mix, if she felt that black people supported her, if that makes sense, because we didn't necessarily feel like maybe that's our music or that relates to us. And then now, because she does a bit, she's more R&B, Afro beats, that type of, does she feel there's a difference? And I do think sometimes as black people, if it's not what we're used to, we kind of go, oh, that's not for us, and we do that, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's definitely confused, It's difficult to balance it because Harley and I had come out of spending our teen years in Brighton, which definitely isn't a black place.
Right.
There are black people there, but, it's limited. Genuinely limited. Coming back to London was such a breath of, it was like, oh, fuck, yeah. Obviously I was in Neasden until I was 10. He was in Wood Green, right? Around the corner.
Ends.
So, yeah, but I can understand. Can I understand? I just remember that our first wave, trumpets, all that kind of shit, people were, the scene I loved, because obviously that first wave of grime was at 2003, and then there was like the kind of indie rap in 2005, 6. Like, I was a fan of all of this. I was paying attention to all of it. I was listening to the War Report. I was excited by, Aftershock and like who's in what grime crew. I was downloading posse cuts off LimeWire. Like, I loved it. I just knew that what I wanted to produce myself was something a little bit different. It was more the backpack hip hop that was in Brighton at the time. Brighton had a hip hop festival when I went there. Those were the guys who taught me how to write multisyllabic rhyme schemes. That's what interested me.
Right.
So I kind of went down that path, and then I'm seeing these rappers who I used to love, Chip, whatever, like people commenting, talking. I'm like, fuck me, this is crazy.
Yeah.
There was a shift, not necessarily with Chip. I don't know why. I guess I remember him initially commenting, and obviously Chip was actually, at that time, he had led the way in terms of rap even being mainstream.
Or like, yeah. Oops a Daisy, that was the time. Oof.
I know, but the stick.
I know, but I love Oops a Daisy.
But I think maybe it's an age thing. But anyway, he did that. He laid those foundations, then got the stick, which was wild. We existed in a time when rap was not pop, and actually was arguably the worst era of UK rap. Like, just because it was just an odd transitional phase where people were trying to like keep up with this kind of like Euro club vibe, and then it was just odd. But yeah, look, when we made that transition into pop, there was a feeling that maybe we had, I don't know what it was, that we'd lost touch with something, or
there's always that
because we happened so quickly. This is another thing I remember. People thought we were planted. We were plants.
That always is a conversation
because like we were just as shocked as everyone else. All that happened was Radio 1 put us as record of the week. That's the whole story.
And then boom.
Bro, that's the whole story. So we're in BBC Introducing, performing to 50 people in Brighton, maybe. 50, we play like a college prom You know what I'm saying? Or like we do a little support slot.
Yeah,
I remember we supported Wretch at like XOYO and people were just a bit confused, but like they were fucking with it.
Right.
And then we get put as record of the week down with the Trumpets, July 2011. We went in at 144 and we ended up at 8. And we stayed at 8 for 4 months.
That's crazy.
And then we do a tune with Ollie and it's number 1 while we're number 8. So suddenly all this shit happens and then people are, and I get it.
Yeah.
Where's our journey? Where are our mixtapes? Where are our, like, you just come out the blue. Yeah. Yeah, it's actually mad, you know? So we had those moments. And I you know, and I guess I kind of get it. But I don't know, man. Again, it's an age thing, it's a positioning thing. In pop, one thing I didn't like, Holly didn't like, is you get positioned, you get put in a certain space.
Right.
And you have to operate in a certain way. And sometimes we're not even aware of how we're being utilized in those spaces. Yeah. And again, all of this is retrospective. I'm 20 years old, I'm 21 years old. I have no understanding of like how this is happening or why we're so big or who's buying our music or where our reach is. Or sometimes it worked in the inverse. Like people saw us as like less threatening rap, which now I would find fucking offensive.
Yeah. 100%.
Like, what does that even mean?
Yeah.
Like palatable. But then to the same extent, I'm saying, but I don't want that to be, why is that pulling me away from my blackness? Like, I think blackness should be existing on a mass spectrum 100%. Of all expressions.
I mean, we're not a monolith either.
That's what I'm trying to say. Like, that's why right now, we're in this alt-black era where I'm seeing dope rock, I'm seeing grunge, I'm seeing all these that black people would have laid the foundations for anyway.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, all right, cool. I'm a black person who's expressing myself in this way. I'm making something that's like more joyful. A little, you know, I was just rapping about like going out and drinking. You know what I'm saying?
But I think...
Not that, yeah, the joyful thing. I don't want to be loaded, but...
No, I mean,
you know what I'm saying?
No, I get what you get.
Like the credentials thing was crazy because I'm like, that's just... I came from Neasden. I lived in Brighton. Of course I was going to be happy.
I got nothing to worry about.
You know?
But I do think now is like the perfect time for that frequency of music. Facts. Because it's such a depressing time. And
Facts.
Even it's but you can even see the music that is doing well. It's music that brings high vibrancy, or there's some sort of like substance to it. I mean, you still got the Sexy Reds doing the absolute most. I mean, I'm not a fan of. I get it.
Really listened to that much. I feel like I hear you. And I said this before. That we did one gig last year just to dip our toe and see what the vibe was, and that's one thing you know what? This is one thing I will be proud of. What? Because in hindsight, when we're removed, one thing that bugged me about being a pop star back in the day was in everyone's face. But I knew in myself that the albums, the actual music, if it was removed from that, was of worth. Because if I was in America, the way we were looked at in America by American artists, like cool artists in America, was so different to how people looked at us in the UK. So I was convinced that like just because I'm on Celeb Juice every fucking week, there's like a different context of my perspective on the music. It's interesting. So yeah, but at that time, I felt, and this again might be an age thing, I felt like people were taking joy for granted. So like the idea was like, oh, you know, it's that happy, cheapy, it's like entertaining, like I'll see you on, you know, you end up on some TV show. It's like, you know, the cool thing is shock. Like people want to be shocked. They want to be appalled. They want like, you know, which is, there's a space for that. You know, death, sex, money, murder, bro. That's what, you know what I'm saying? Now, when we're gigging, it's got a different twist, man. It feels like it's almost a rebellion. Like just to be happy.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, let me just come here, listen to this fucking music and feel connected to people because what the fuck
is going on?
Like since we stopped making music, the fuck, like COVID, Brexit, Trump, fucking.
How's the different? Because obviously the music industry is so different now. Streaming, all that kind of stuff.
It's a lot.
How's it been?
I don't like it.
You don't. How's that been? The time, like getting your head around that.
Just different. It's, like I say, like because I have my other like writing the book was such. I felt the same excitement as when I first made music.
Right.
So in my head, that's the long game. But with Rizzle Kicks, it's like, yeah, I love making music with Harley. And if I wasn't doing loads of other things, yeah, I could be sat there doing 7 TikToks a day and it would literally improve my career. And I'm aware of that. So you have to just take it with a pinch of salt. Like, I just want, hopefully, word to spread on the basis the music is good. See us live and get excited by that. And then just, it is what it is. We're going to release more music. I'm definitely not trying to base any sense of like, I have to avoid the comparison thing or try and fight, you know, all these people who are in the rat race trying to get their first buzz. That's
an interesting point as well, because that must play a part on everything, like mentally as well. Because you can try to be like, I'm not going to, but you can't. The noise is always there, if that makes sense. So you kind of just have to. But I was just going to say, it's amazing though, and you should feel really proud of yourself that even after 10 years, you can release like new music, and you still have people there that are waiting.
Like anyone wanting to listen.
Like waiting for it and wanting to receive the music. And that's really dope.
Yeah. Yeah. Honestly, I really think that like our memory has aged well. And a lot of the people who I love have all been. Well, the other mad thing as well is people who grew up listening to Rizzle kicks are superstars in their own right now.
Yeah.
I'm hearing fucking dope musicians being like, yeah, man, I played your shit when I was, because at the other age, you know, we were in the midst of like 20s. That's like super judgmental, super critical, super like, oh, am I cool?
Yeah.
You know, these lot were 12, 13, some of them, you know, like I'm hearing people, big international artists being like, yeah, I was at your gig in Birmingham.
That's crazy.
At 14. You know,
crazy.
And I was only 19.
Yeah.
So that reflectively, and then now, you know, on the record, we've got features from Maverick Sabre, Lexa Moore, and Mick Jenkins.
Nice.
DJ Premier, who's, you know, arguably one of the greatest, not arguably, he is one of, if not the greatest kind of hip hop producer and personality DJ. Like, he's a G, and we're just boys.
Yeah.
Like, there's none of this. We've been friends for years, and I've hit him up. I was like, Primo, man, we're doing another record. I need you on this shit, because I've always wanted to do something, you know. And he was like, yeah, you know. And same, you know, I DM'd Mick Jenkins. What are you saying? Boom.
DMs are really the way forward.
That is the one upside of this shit.
Just good day. Hi, how you doing? Do you fancy jumping on a record? Yeah, mate. Why not? And then it's like, oh wow, someone's actually.
It's cool, man. Listen, I'm. Yeah, you got to follow the excitement. You got to follow the love. Yeah, look, I'm looking. I really hope people listen to the record and you know.
So do I. And I'm not sure they will, because I guess you wouldn't have. There has to be like a nice little bubble for you to think, okay, people want. So there's. People.
But one thing I will say though is, even though you're gonna try and train me out of being humility. A humil.
Humble.
Yeah. I still, how I know that the rap thing is a bit left for me is that I know that the rappers I think are sick, they all think they're the best rapper in the world. I actually just don't have that.
But it doesn't mean...
I like rapping, and I think some of the lines I say are fucking sick. And Harley will tell me all the time, he thinks I'm the best rapper in the world. I'll listen to other rappers be like, you know, they're actually very good.
But maybe that's your self-sabotaging.
I'm not trying to fight that. Yeah, but I'm just like, doesn't matter, does it? It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I hear it. Because I would never be like...
It just doesn't matter.
No, because I get what you mean. You know, and because sometimes it's like, yeah, I'm not that... I'm just good. I'm good at what I'm doing. I might not be the best. Like, I don't think I'm the best at talking, but I'm good at it. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
I wouldn't be like, yeah, I'm the best, but I just know I can hold a conversation. I can, you know, conduct some good interviews here or there, and that's how it goes.
Yeah.
Have you got questions for me?
Yeah, right.
Ask me, Big Brother.
I've not spoken to you properly since you did Big Brother.
Yeah. It's nearly a year ago now. Can you believe it?
Is it?
Yeah, it's coming up to a year.
Is it the last series? Was it the last series of it?
That was it was the first celeb one that they done.
Have there been two? You were on with Louis?
Yeah, so that was the first one back after 10 years.
Yeah.
So yeah. So yeah, coming up to a year now.
And do you think it's been a good thing?
Yeah, I enjoyed doing it. I enjoyed doing it.
Has it been good for your career?
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's so interesting when coming out of the house or all those type of things, I think, as a Black woman.
Right.
I think my only thing was...
That's what you and Nella were chatting about, isn't it?
Yeah, like...
That shit... Oh.
Did you like it?
What? The podcast was great. It just reminded me of Nella getting stick.
Yeah, that was crazy. But that's my whole thing. So I feel like as a Black woman, going onto those shows, I think your main focus is coming out not tarnished, or not being seen as angry Black woman.
Yeah.
I think those are the only.
Not you, but like this the whole.
Like literally, just like please.
Oh, sorry. You seem to have eaten my food.
I was zenning. I say if they didn't let me out, if I didn't get voted out on that Tuesday when I was up for nomination, I would have just ruined all my hard work because I was about to.
On the edge.
I was on the edge at that point. I was just like, no, it's just, because it's such a high pressure environment.
That's.
But it's one of the best experiences I've had.
Really?
Yeah, because I grew up watching Big Brother.
Yeah, same.
So, say again?
I mean, yeah, go on.
Did you do it?
I got asked.
Okay. I was thinking if you did it when it was...
normal?
Yeah, because...
Jokes.
No, because...
on Channel 5? Don't disrespect me like that.
No, back in the day, like, no, you know...
Channel 5 Big Brother?
No, you know when Dappy did it? That wasn't Channel 5, was it?
You're rude.
It was Channel...
No, it wasn't.
It wasn't. When Dappy did the celeb one...
Zeze, I was like 17.
No, yeah, but... No, because you said 10 years ago. And 10 years ago...
I was 7... Yeah. No, Dappy wasn't 10 years ago.
Is you sure? I don't know, but I'm pretty sure when Rizzle kicks...
No, I never drew it. But you got asked, but yeah, no.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah, but it was Channel 5 era.
Oh, so... But there was an era, that's what I'm saying. There was a time when you could have...
Yeah, sure. No,
that's what I mean.
I did.
I was wondering, actually, did you do it?
I've grown up with that.
Yeah, so I grew up watching it. So then to be asked to do it, and then on top of that to be asked to do the celeb one, I was like, what the fuck is happening here? Like,
vibes.
Celeb one, what's happening? I genuinely was like, do I qualify?
Really?
Yeah, I was so shocked.
What happened to backing yourself?
Yeah, I mean...
Just trying to lecture me on being a fucking...
No, but your shit is different.
Why?
Because you've like...
You're out here yapping.
Yeah, but you sold out venues. Yeah. You've had like thousands of people come to see you.
You got the
been
views.
In the charts. Your thing is separate from mine.
Okay.
It's very separate. Yours is like...
I don't think you should underplay the Zeze Millz show though.
No,
so there's a lot of like, I know it's difficult to like look at maybe a podcast as having influence, but like there's a lot of cultural moments that occurred in whatever fucking room you were in before.
Thank you. I appreciate it. But yeah, it was really good. It was hard. Don't get me wrong. It was very hard, but also very fun. But when I went in there, and I always say this as well, I don't think that's necessarily anything different from the Black woman experience, as in on a day-to-day basis. Because when I went in there, people were like, okay, make sure you don't get to this, don't do it, because you know how it is. And you'll get classed as angry Black woman. And I always said to my friends, like, I don't actually think that's anything different from how I have to navigate the world anyway. It's just now it's 24/7. Yeah. But on a day-to-day, like when I go into the shop as a Black woman, I'm going to think about my tone. I'm going to think about how I come across. Because if I now say to you, it's now I've got an attitude problem. So if I someone from a different race can say what in the exact same, and it's never going to be angry. It's just going to be like, are you okay? Are you okay today? Whereas me, it's going to be like, you got an attitude problem. And I learned that from like working in retail. You know, I used to see it all the time. Like I would say something and it would be, she's got an attitude problem. Yeah. But then someone else would, and it's nothing. So on a day-to-day, I have to think about that. Yeah. So when I went into the house, I'm thinking about that. It's just that now it's 24/7. And I think also that's when I realized how much I actually soundboard off people. Like I've got a really good circle of friends that if something's going wrong, I can pick up the phone and say, yeah. I've got really good circle of friends that I can call, family, cousin, I can call and just soundboard and say, this is how I feel. This is what's pissing me off. But then you can't do that in the house because everything's on camera. So there'll be bare things that I would want to say, like just to get off my chest.
Super aware of it the whole time.
Super.
That's where I think I'd fuck up.
Yeah, you're super. You can't because the cameras literally move. You'd be like, oh yeah, by the way, did you hear what Louis said? All of a sudden you hear, yeah, and moving towards you.
Oh my God,
you
the
can
panic.
See the cameras like moving.
The panic, bro.
Yeah, like you're just there. You would see it. Or
I wouldn't. Yeah, I was.
It was fine.
I wouldn't be able to do that. Big up you for doing that.
And then being in the house of like Louis, Sharon, it's kind of iconic. Like I grew up again watching them, like on X Factor. No, it was mad. Iconic. But yeah, Lou's definitely a character for sure.
Yeah, I'm just.
Yeah.
He is the industry.
Do you ever watch the Boyzone documentary?
Yeah.
Peak in it.
Super. Yeah, but no, I'm
like
glad.
Mad peak.
Yeah, I'm glad that it was a good experience with that. Man,
It was.
Yeah.
Anything else you wanted?
I'm maybe trying to get some Big Brother tea, but now I think about it, it's not really much to get. I think I got it. If you had a good time,
I didn't know. I did. I had a good time. It was definitely hard. It was hard, and I think if you go on it as a Black woman, you have to see it as like I'm working for 3 weeks.
Yeah, for real.
It's not, this is gonna be fun. It will be fun. But do you know what? Because to be fair, I would say Marisha, who was my friend Marisha, who I made friends with, who's black as well.
Yeah.
I would actually say maybe her experience might be different.
Yeah.
Because she's not as argumentative as me.
She's the queen of musical theatre.
Musical theatre,
yeah. I've seen her, actually.
So she's more like, hey guys, and more, I'm very opinionated. I'm anti.
You're anti.
So I'm ready. That's naturally in me.
Okay.
And I actually have to, even in relationships, I genuinely have to stop myself from being anti.
All right, so if we've both run out of questions, I just want to, this one's because I want to rifle through this. This is separate though. I'm going on a side quest. Is that okay?
Yeah, go on.
It's just something I've been speaking about in the last day. It's blown my mind.
Go on.
So you see how Olivia Attwood's got those documentaries? You ever watch them?
Yeah.
Right, they're cold.
Yeah.
Like Filthy Rich.
Yeah.
Right, it's on season 3.
I love it.
Right, brilliant. So I'm there, right? The other day I listened to a podcast where a woman was exposing Pornhub, right? Ooh. And it was a lot. Like what she was talking about, there's thousands and thousands of open cases against Pornhub because basically, long story short, it was unregulated for an uncomfortably long time.
Right.
And when it was regulated by men and women, I guess, who were having to watch like 10,000 videos a day. Can you imagine this? 10,000 videos a day and say whether or not it was okay to be publicly viewed.
Yeah,
consent, age, all of that, right? Crazy.
That's crazy.
That's a documentary in itself, being
right?
that person.
Because they must become so desensitized to sex, but anyway, go on.
So I'm there going, right, like, can I even engage? Not that I really did much with Pornhub, but like, there's, I guess, free porn in that sense is exploitative. Like, it must be because the people getting the most money are certainly not the people who are making it.
Right.
So then I'm like, well, what is the ethical approach to porn? And then obviously you put on Olivia Attwood and they're seeing all these people make their money. So then I said to a couple of my friends, I was like, girls and boys, I went like, would you be comfortable with your partner having an OnlyFans subscription?
You're asking me?
And this is your question, yeah.
Never.
Would you be comfortable with them watching free porn?
I mean, I'd be. Oh, you say if they had an OnlyFans, as in they were paying?
No. They were paying someone else.
Oh.
No, they don't have like their own OnlyFans.
I thought they had.
Also, that's an interesting response, though.
What? Never.
You can't. Your partner can't be running an OnlyFans.
Never.
Because they want to see the goods.
Life. I was gonna start one myself though.
Yeah.
For feet.
Sure.
And then just get my partner to rub my feet, so he would be a part
of it.
Not that I have a partner. That's
Are you pro sex work?
No, I'm not.
You're not pro sex work?
Nah. But that's why I have a battle with the
Oldest
feet
job.
thing. I know it is. I don't like how it's, and I don't like how it's become so normalized.
Sex work.
As in, like, it's just do it. No Nike. Because it's just.
Do you think OnlyFans is sex work?
100%.
Oh, and I guess but you're not actually having sex.
But
you're simulating it.
Stimulating. And some people do have sex on there. I've subscribed to a few that has it.
Yeah.
So if I've subscribed, I have to. I guess he has to. He's allowed to.
But I think that's interesting because what I found interesting about the discussion was like,
what did most people?
Maybe it was actually quite split.
Oh, the ladies were saying no though. I bet.
No. There was nuance. Honestly, the ending of the story is that there's actually just nuance to everybody's individual expectations. Yeah. But what the interesting resistance I found was that one friend was like, they were okay with their partner watching free porn, but they drew the line at somebody paying a person to provide it for them, which is obviously ethical. You're paying a creator directly for their work.
But my thing is, the £13 that you're giving her, you could have put towards something for me.
Right, but I'm saying, okay, so is porn off the table in a relationship? Because my point is like, if you're going to watch porn, surely as a woman, you would want a woman to be paid. Because otherwise it's exploitative.
Yeah, I know, but...
But nah.
Because it's like you're giving her the money.
Yeah, but she's working.
Yeah, but...
It's a job.
Yeah, but someone else can do that.
In Miami, at a strip club, your boy wants to dance. What are you saying?
Yeah, that's fine.
How is that different?
Because we're there together.
Okay, so you have to watch the OnlyFans with him.
If we got a joint account, then we can watch it together.
A joint account, all right. A joint account, I see. You need to know exactly how much money is being put out.
Because also it's like, do you know what it is? Okay, this is what it is. Because I've been trying to find what it is.
I am pro-sex work, by the way, just to say.
It is.
Just to be clear.
My thing is that it's too personal. As in you could message this.
Yeah, okay, so messaging, I think, is the line.
So that's what I think it is, because it becomes also I think what it is the idea of, it's too personal. Even if you don't message, there's
even the pictures and videos.
Yeah, because
that's can what people see are watching
everything.
Anyway.
No, but she can see who you are.
No.
She can.
Listen, if someone's put their full name and picture, then that's a problem.
Then she can. They say.
Yeah, but I'm assuming
no, because when you join an OnlyFans page, which I have done, they message you and be like, "Hey," obviously it's automated. It's not actually like them sitting there, but I wouldn't be surprised actually. They message like, "Hey, haven't seen you in a while," or they'll say stuff like, "Free video." So
in a chat, just to get you chatting.
Yeah, because if you subscribe to it, they can message you. But like I said, it's like a chain message. It's like a WhatsApp message. But now your partner, basically it's broadcast. But now your partner's got access to this woman that he can now message back and be like, "Oh, can you send me?"
It's literally the message. That's the issue.
The messaging, and it's too close to home. Not too close, as in it's too personal.
It's in their home.
Pornhub seems very far removed. Some of the videos are like 5 years old.
Yeah, but some of their photos would be 5 years old. Videos would be 5 years old.
Nah, because OnlyFans, they update it regularly because they need to get paid.
Fascinating.
But also, I just wouldn't. Because also you can go on her Instagram now, because she's probably added it in her Instagram. Now you can talk to her.
Yeah, but that's obviously too far. Yeah, but I'm not talking about, is it okay to build a relationship with an OnlyFans model? No, but that's what I'm saying. The OnlyFans is you're opening Pandora's box. So it's better to have women exploited en masse on a free website where a small group of men make the majority of the money than it is for a woman to be directly paid for work that she isn't even emotionally engaged in.
I mean, now you put it like that. Obviously, it sounds mad.
That's what I mean.
And it's hypocritical. It's mad hypocritical. It is. And do you know what it is? It's probably because over time, like we were saying about society, that side of porn has become normalized. So we don't see it as, ooh, whereas OnlyFans is still a little bit of a taboo.
Yeah.
And because you can see the girls advertising. So I could go on Twitter and the girls will be like, this is my OnlyFans. Yeah. Again, it's just, I think it seems too personal. That's where it feels. Pornhub still seems like you're disassociated from it. It's like the third party. Do you know what I mean? It's like if I was arranging a threesome for an agency. I don't want my partner to directly speak to the girl. I want him to speak to the agency.
That's something you've done before.
I'm trying.
Agency?
I'm not agency.
There's people who organise threesome agencies.
There probably is.
I don't know. It's just something like...
No, there probably is. I always say this because I had this like thing that I always say I would love to like gift my partner threesomes.
Cold, yeah.
But I don't know how I feel about that anymore. But I do.
What's changed? Is it an insecure thing? I mean, that would be the obvious. Like, you have to make sure your partner doesn't find them more attractive than you.
Oh, but you're never going to know that, are you?
But why is the focus not on whether you find them attractive? I think that's hot.
Oh, no, it'll always be my choice.
Right.
I'm going to be the picker.
Great.
And I have final say.
Great.
It's nothing to do with him.
Great.
This is just for my own pleasure.
Brilliant.
And
That's brilliant.
Gets to join in sometimes.
That's brilliant.
You know what I mean? Obviously, he has to find her attractive as well. But I am the decider.
Yeah. That's great.
But, yeah. So, initially, I think, I don't know. But I'm not against my partner watching porn.
Generally?
Nah. I'm not. As long as it's not unhealthy.
Yeah.
And it's like
an unhealthy amount or unhealthy... I mean, yeah.
Both.
As in what they're watching.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't want to know.
I find this... You know what it is?
They always say, though, that's like one of the most personal questions you could ask somebody.
Ever.
Like, what is your category? Because then you get to find out how weird or not weird someone is. Because if they start saying things like, yeah, I like watching feet with this and that and blah, 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 you have to start looking at someone. You might... Not sideways.
Could that be a deal breaker?
What, the type of porn they watch?
This actually came up. This came up in the convo too.
What type of porn they watch?
Is there a possibility that someone would respond to that and then you never look at them the same again?
Yeah, because if they said some weird shit, I'd be like, yeah, you're a bit weird.
Yeah.
Like if they were like, yeah. And because sometimes also, like the quality, like what type of quality are they watching?
Like HD?
Yeah, HD.
Do you watch your porn in HD?
I hate HD porn.
That's actually hilarious.
I like amateur.
480p, otherwise we're done, bro.
I hate high definition.
Amateur is actually a vibe.
I hate good production.
Do you know where you find a lot of amateur porn?
Twitter.
OnlyFans.
Oh. No, Twitter is the one.
And guess what their accounts are?
Oh, but this is what I'm saying, because now you got to go through Twitter to get to the OnlyFans. So now my man's DMing you like, yo, babe, I saw that.
But I do think that the amateur thing's important, because like people's perception of sex is just out of this, what the fuck?
That's what I'm saying.
What is life now?
But that's why I don't like normal, because the woman looks like she's not enjoying it. The man, it's just horrible. It's nothing.
I read a book about it once, about like a porn. I read a book about a woman who was going around to like various, but I can't remember what it was called. But she was like investigating parts of like our society's view on sex. And one of them was she was on set for a day. And she said that like in between these ridiculous takes, they would just have, I don't know if it was the same porn star or another person that they would just do missionary with to make sure that they were like still excited. So they would have like all of this crazy walking, and then in between scenes, they just have to like go back to vanilla sex just to make sure that they're still engaged.
Oh my God.
It's mad, isn't it? But you never see that shit.
I did same thing. I watched a documentary some time ago now, actually, about the porn industry and how they basically all in the houses, and young girls are all in houses, and it's really horrible. And that did put me off watching porn for a little while, because I was just like, oh, that's
honestly,
really
when you
horrible.
hear the stories, you're like, that's
disgusting.
Fucked.
Yeah. So okay, you've actually made me look at it different now.
I was just interested. Thing. I don't even have an answer. What I find fascinating in life is just where there's a disparity of communication. Like, one thing's for sure is, regardless of whether or not we know how it makes us feel, I started to realize as we were talking that I think men and women, like, this is obviously generalizing, but there seemed to be like a slightly split idea of how the other person views sex. And also, it's interesting to me that if the answer is no porn, I find that, like, yeah, that would be a conclusion, because the other answer is, let's talk about porn. And I'm not sure if people are ready to have
we're not.
conversation.
We're not. But we're just not, because also sex is still a taboo.
Bruv,
why?
Why? Why? Hey, listen, I'm gonna start. We've got to demystify that shit.
Are you gonna 100% start a sex podcast?
I'm gonna start an sex podcast.
Oh, you want to start OnlyFans?
No. Of course not.
Would you?
What, doing sexual shit?
Yeah. Would Jade let you?
I doubt it. No, she wouldn't. But I mean, I'd probably try and find some like
quirky way.
Yeah.
Some artsy way, like it's just like.
No, but I've chatted to Jade about this stuff. Like, I genuinely find the whole conversation really interesting, because it's just. Then there's the other question of, okay, say OnlyFans is on the table. Obviously, 10 OnlyFans subscriptions, that's a lot. 1, that's intense. So really, you want like a sweet spot, like 5 or 6.
What do you mean?
Like, if you're like, okay, you can do an OnlyFans.
Yeah.
I've decided that porn is exploitative. So that cool. And then they subscribe to 1.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. The dedication.
Yeah. So you go like, all right, you can have 4.
Because then the attention's divided.
Right.
Because that's what.
But then what if they hit up 10? And you're like, are you all right?
No, but this is what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It's 2. If you're following like 2 girls,
can I say, some boys and men will do that anyway on Pornhub? Just saying.
What, follow the account?
Or no, just like a particular person.
But yeah, search by name.
I
search by name.
Excuse me, you have a favorite porn star?
I do.
It's a revelation.
Huh? I've never said this before. No, yeah, it's just a favorite thing.
Don't name that.
I'm not gonna.
Will you tell me after?
I can't even remember. And also, what's telling, I don't really like, because sometimes.
Any male porn stars?
Nah, I only like watching girl on girl.
Is it?
Yeah.
Too much to ever.
It's because they always look like they're in pain, and I'm into the ladies as well. So I prefer. I find that more like they look like they're enjoying it. They look like they're having fun with each other. It looks like they're actually being pleasured, instead of, like we were saying earlier, just you're crying basically. Do you know? But it's true, and it's just, and you, as a woman, you can tell. You can look at another woman, you can be like, "Sis is not enjoying that."
Yeah, I hear
like,
it.
Sis ain't having fun.
I hear it.
And what's that? And then, but yeah,
I hear it.
So yeah, you do, out of everything you do, because you have many creative fields.
Yeah.
If you had to do one for the rest of your life,
right?
Which one is it?
Right.
Long
form writing.
I thought you said right as in right, R-I-T, and then you actually saying like, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Long form writing. I've always loved writing. I love how I can write a sentence and I can put words together, and then those words in that sequence can elicit a feeling in a person. There's like nothing more amazing as a feeling for me than that. And I even loved that with music, and you know, my book's done well by the metrics that we were wanting. You know, like we're being, I think, quite realistic about. But it's done well. We've actually surpassed what we wanted to do, which is like fucking sick. And the most rewarding part of it is I get these extensive messages, and it's not like, obviously podcasts are amazing, but sometimes you'll say something in a podcast and it'll elicit a message. You go, oh, that's cool. But these motherfuckers have read 73,000 words of my life.
Yeah.
And they have a response.
Yeah. That must be such a heartwarming and surreal feeling, because it's like, wow, you actually...
But I want to also find that feeling in a story that isn't directly me as well. And that's the biggest challenge as a writer. Okay. My next story, I want to be able to captivate people with essentially fiction. That's obviously will have some root in reality.
Right.
But I have a couple of ideas.
Because your book, it must be interesting because obviously you write, but then you're also a lyricist. So I did find your book sounds quite poetic. Do you know what I mean? It sounds like if you started spitting over a beat, you might be able to spit. You might be able to.
Some of it, especially, is quite prosy.
Yeah. So does that always like merge together somehow?
It's just how that was me. I was given full reign to write how I think, and so I did. And I big up my agent and editor for encouraging me to write how I want.
Amazing.
Grammatically incorrect and, you know, very rhythmic.
I love that, because also it lets people know that you don't, the grammatically incorrect, even though I think you're hella articulate. Sometimes we listen to you speak and be like, oh my God, Jordan, sounds so smart. Well, obviously you are. But I like the fact that you said that, because again, just going back to young boys, young women, thinking that they can't enter certain spaces because, oh, I don't know how to write correctly, or I don't know how to do this. And that's what I love about people like yourself, even like me, all these podcasters at the moment. It's such a range. Like some people
I love it.
Are madly articulate. Some people are not, everyone's articulate in their own way, but some people talk how you think you should talk. Some people talk how we talk. And I love that.
It's the main focus on delivering a message is getting the audience to receive it. Like that's it.
Yeah.
There's nothing else. Like, you know, I could understand maybe, I want to communicate to as many people as possible. So I'm trying, my main thing is just trying to shorten sentences, you know, just trying to, I definitely have a history of, sometimes I go off.
Well, we have had a long conversation today.
Oh, we have, yeah.
And that, because we're both talkers.
I know, I love it. I could do this again.
I could talk forever.
I've actually got some plans for us anyway.
Have you?
Yeah, we'll fill you in.
Whoa, that'd be lovely. Karen, manager over there,
we got some ideas, yeah. How long have we been talking for?
I don't know, how long oh gosh, this is the longest one I've done. 2 hours, damn.
This is why you should have said it at 2 hours.
2 hours. Oh, we have.
Holy shit, all right, okay, guys, bye, thank you.
We have to wrap up.
Fucking
because
hell.
It's been 2 hours and we could talk forever.
You could have said, no, honestly, after 1:30, you could have told us to shut up.
No, because...
Eating break.
Okay.
Are you going to cut some of it down?
I don't know.
Because I did this on someone else's podcast too, and every other episode was 40 minutes, and my episode was 1 hour 40.
No, to be fair, I've recently been doing quite a lot, like 1 hour 30. So this will be long, but it's my longest. But I always knew that we were gonna talk, because you're a talker, I'm a talker. Okay. We've touched. There's things I haven't even said or touched on because we was always just gonna.
We can just do a part 2.
We can do a part 2.
Yeah. All good.
But I think I genuinely really happy that you came. So glad that we had this conversation.
Yeah, man,
and I think honestly, it's really important what you're advocating for the young men, because it's right. You're right. It has to be caught and taught now, so that when they grow up, we're not now dealing with pussy holes.
I think everything in the world happens because someone has a desire for or lack of love. And that's really hard to accept when the person is doing immediately horrible shit. You can't look at that person. Well, it's a lot to expect the person to be like, oh, you must not have been loved.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because you're like, no, fuck that person. And you're entitled to. But if we're wanting actual change, unfortunately, we have to view it. We have to look at the bigger picture.
And have loads of
And my concern is like, right, so let's encourage boys to love themselves so they're not projecting that pain onto others. That's it.
And on that note, we are out. Make sure you like, subscribe, tell your friends, tell your mom, tell your dad, tell everybody.
Big up Zeze Millz, yo.
We had Jordan in the building. We out.